Hi, everyone. Today is Sunday, March 9th, 2025, and we are joined by a special guest from the Tennessee Drivers Union. Welcome, Monique.
Hi.
Monique, you're here with us today to discuss the February 14th peaceful caravan strike at the Metro Nashville Airport Authority, which was followed by the largest act of retaliation in rideshare organizing history, and to discuss how we can support and stand in solidarity with them. Monique, thank you for coming on the show and welcome to Activist News Network.
Thank you.
Now, before we jump into the recent demonstration on private property of the Nashville International Airport, we're wondering if you could provide us with some background on how and why the Tennessee Drivers Union came into existence.
Great. Thank you for asking and thank you for having me. The Tennessee Drivers Union, we came into existence because of how many issues drivers face every day while serving its $31 billion tourism industry. And drivers across the state pretty much face issues and that were similar. And we just decided, let's come together. And we came together in the spring of last year for a protest during Labor Day weekend at the BNA airport, which made news nationally. So we're a union of about 16, if not more, nations of Uber and Lyft drivers in the state, and with over 300 drivers growing every day. And currently, through the power of the strikes, we've won a few demands at the city level and have a bill considered at the state level. So that's how we came together. We all shared the same grievances with these rideshare companies.
Thank you for that bit of an exposition. On the 14th of last month, members of the Tennessee Drivers Union engaged in a peaceful caravan strike demonstration at the Nashville International Airport, which is, of course, again, public property. Can you provide us with some background into what led up to this action?
Absolutely. So on February 14th, the Tennessee Drivers Union, as well as other volunteers and members, came together to participate in a nationwide strike with ride shares for just the treatment and the lack of pay. And so we came together and decided that we would caravan peacefully and put together something that would, one, not disrupt the flow of traffic, the flow of their airport functions, but just let it be known that we were here and here were some of the grievances we had. And because we've done this here at the same location before and never experienced anything like we have this time, we felt like this was a great opportunity because many other locations were also using the airport as their starting point. So 34 of the drivers who participated in the caravan all had their apps off. No one that participated had their apps on the public property, nor were they working. And we were met with the Nashville Airport Authority, their policing department, and were pretty much told that not that we were disrupting the flow, but that we weren't allowed to be there. We can't speak the way we can't, use our right to exercise free speech and that we needed to leave. So when that came up, we tried to leave. And unfortunately, we were met with a little bit of pushback from the airport authority with some of the drivers being targeted and some of the drivers being only one got ticketed, but the others did not. The drivers were harassed, their cars were they had photos taken of their vehicles as well as their tags. And some of these people that were there in the rideshare area were not even participating. So there were some people who didn't even have anything to do with this. And they were also threatened with the ban. So we waited a few days just to see kind of what would be going on. We thought everything was fine. We left peacefully. And that's when we all received a message from Uber and Lyft saying some were permanently banned, some were told they were banned for a short period of time, but each of the bannings were never given a specific reason as to why they were banned. They were just told they cannot come on the property to work permanently. And because we've never experienced this type of retaliation before, of course, each of the drivers tried to reach out to Uber and Lyft to try to appeal these decisions and give their point of view and their perspective on the situation. And they were pretty much tossed over to the Nashville airport. And then the Nashville airport pretty much just left us hanging. We don't know what else that they could possibly want to do. They just told us we were banned, and that was a bit confusing because Uber has the power to either reinstate you or allow you to appeal, and they gave none of the drivers that option.
I see. I mean, that's just a lot of backlash, a lot of response. I'm curious, what were your demands for during the strike?
So our demands were at the Nashville airport were one, to have better spacing for or better places to park, because out of the airport, you've only got probably 90 spots, but we have hundreds of drivers. So drivers are sometimes left with having to circle the airport numerous times. And each time they circle, that is a $2 to $5 fee. And they're gaining fees by not allowing these drivers to have a place to park to pick up their people. There's not any workable bathrooms for the drivers. The few porta potties that have been placed there are sometimes unkept, unclean, unsanitary. And just recently, we were able to gain a women's section of the porta potties. Previously, before, men and women had to use the same bathroom areas, which was very uncomfortable for our women drivers. We also asked for better staging areas so that we could pick up and not have to feel like we're running into each other, because sometimes in that staging area, you had taxis, you had regular cars, you had rideshare drivers. So it was really nothing dedicated specifically just for the drivers. And then eventually, when we did see some changes in that, it was still not functional.
And as we mentioned, there was quite a bit of backlash to this strike. What is your assessment of the legality of this ban? And as you mentioned, the one ticket.
Great. So I will say I'm not a lawyer by any means. I don't have any legal uh, background or anything like that. But from what we do know is that the lawyers have told us that the retaliation is an attack on free speech and the right of workers. And being that it's the largest retaliation against drivers for organizing, this is one of those one off situations that has never happened, nor have we seen it in other protests that we've had. So that's pretty much the most that we've gotten right now, and we're looking at all of our options in regards to this retaliation against our free speech and our rights.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And of course, yeah, this is all breaking ground, really. You guys are really on the front edge.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm curious, how critical is the airport ban, which was implemented by Uber and Lyft, to the drivers who rely on these driving opportunities?
So the airport is one of the only opportunities for rideshare drivers to make at least barely above minimum wage. And this attacks the workers because it not only affects the drivers, but the families that they support, the communities that are supportive of these areas. Because this airport has made $2.4 million in fees from rideshare drivers. And these airport fees make people like Doug Crulin, the CEO of Metro Nashville Airport Authority, richer and richer because he got a raise. Whereas drivers are still being pitted against each other and to give it less fares while we're bringing in the money for this particular location. And we ask for simple requests that are always pretty much unheard. And sometimes we are blocked from attending the meetings that would assist us or would give our side of how we can make it better or come to a compromise. So what we see is that they just want to make the fun, they want to make the money that comes from drivers, but they do not want to accommodate the drivers. They want the drivers to figure that out for themselves. And the money that they're using could be used to porta potty cleaning, improve the rideshare lot, and all we're seeing is going towards executive salaries.
Right, absolutely. Thank you for that answer. The Nashville International Airport reported around 24 million passengers coming through their gates last year. With tourism being such an important part of Nashville's economy, as you mentioned, is it fair to say that drivers are vital to the airport's functioning?
Absolutely. Because in this particular area, the only way you're going to get around, because buses don't go there, public transportation doesn't go there, most hotels don't offer shuttle services. So the only other option that riders have is ride shares. And a lot of people that come here to visit, they don't know anyone here. So how else will they get around? We contribute a lot to the tourism because not only do we pick them up from the airport, but these are the same people asking about small businesses. They're asking about local businesses. They're asking about where they should go. So we're adding more dollars to businesses that are located in Nashville by just a word of mouth because they'll trust what it is we're saying. We're from here, and to take that away, you have people now having to get taxis, and that's another subject. Is get these taxis, which will first start off by telling them, "Oh, I'll set the price for you." Then they're later finding out that the taxi services are charging them way much more than what they initially agreed upon. So it causes a lack of integrity and questions uh, the tourism here about being scammed. People are worried about being scammed anywhere they go. They're worried about their safety. And with the ride shares not being available, one, you don't have any tracking systems. So that puts our tourists in a situation of fear and puts them in a situation of danger. Whereas with the rideshare services, we provide the tracking, we provide the transportation that is going to get them to where they're going with upfront pricing and allowing them to kind of know what they're going to be spending and where they're going to be going so that they don't have to worry about, am I going to make it to my destination safely?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that answer. Do both the Metro Nashville Airport Authority and rideshare apps stand to gain from allowing for this mistreatment of drivers at the airport?
They actually would lose because the more and more that this continues to happen with violating and retaliating the rights of the drivers, you'll see drivers start to fall off the app because they don't feel safe. They don't feel like they have um, anyone to back them. And that's where the union steps in and we say, hey, we've got your back. Just join us. And we're seeing that the mistreatment of the drivers is causing so many drivers to come off the app and ask for cash rides. So it causes a lot of problems where drivers are having to come up with alternative ways to actually make a profit in this type of industry. And it also can put them in danger because we don't know the people we're picking up, just like they don't know us. And the fact that they're having to do that speaks volume because they should be paid a living wage. They should be paid fairly. They shouldn't be shorted in their fares because Uber says, I want to make a profit for investors and shareholders. We don't care about our drivers because now you're creating an environment where drivers are having to come up with alternatives or seek employment elsewhere in order just to make a living, just to have benefits.
What an excellent answer. Thank you so much for that. I absolutely agree. Doug Crulin, CEO of the Metro Nashville Airport Authority, blames Uber and Lyft for not providing sufficient infrastructure to support the drivers at the airport. Is he right to place blame on them?
Well, Doug's best interest is the Nashville airport, not Uber, not Lyft. So, of course, he's going to respond with an answer like that because, one, he doesn't want to hold the responsibility of providing a space for us. Why? It's going to take away from his salary. It's going to take away from his potential of income. So why would he side with a very company that just promised him that we can help you earn more? That's all he's concerned about. He's not concerned with implementing rideshare services or areas in this new airport. He wants a profit. That's what his goal is. That's what his job is. He is a CEO, and they have to make decisions that bring in more money for the airport, not Uber or Lyft. He doesn't have any vested interest unless he's not, being straightforward and saying that he's an investor or he has investments with it. It doesn't affect him. It only increases for him.
Absolutely, an excellent point. As you've all pointed out, Tennessee is infamous for anti worker laws and loopholes, which suppress working wages and increase profits for companies like Uber and Lyft. In what ways have these companies shaped state legislation, and how will Uber's lobbying efforts impact drivers in the area if implemented by the state of Tennessee?
So in 2015, Uber and Lyft lobbied to get Tennessee rideshare drivers exempt from the licensing laws that apply to all forms of commercial driving. And this rideshare loophole has allowed rideshares to go unregulated, which is terrible, when all forms of commercial driving require a state license. They are allowing anybody to come to the state of Tennessee and drive. Doesn't matter if you've lived here, doesn't matter if you know this place, does not matter. And what we want is rideshare to be regulated in the same way so that Uber and Lyft can stop falsely incentivizing drivers from other states to come here and it causing oversaturation, which also causes low wages for drivers. Because if you're oversaturated, you can dangle $5 in a driver's face because they haven't been getting rides. It's too many drivers out there. And this allows the Uber and Lyft to continue to take 70 to 80% of the fare, which is continuing to increase the price for the customer, but decrease the amount of pay for the drivers because they give us blanket messages about where the fares go. We just see operating cost. We don't even know what that is. I don't understand how it is that a driver can have 7,000 fees paid to the airport and not even be able to use the bathroom, not even be able to go inside, wash their hands, not even be able to rest peacefully without being harassed. But yet you still want the money, but you don't want to provide the adequate, safe uh, spacing and staging for these same drivers that you're making money off of. So they just keep on saying, we can treat you any kind of way because at the end of the day, you don't have any rights. That's why we classify you as an independent contractor because we don't have to provide those things. But yet, we're also held to a standard such as acceptance rates. Acceptance rates are really used just to control you taking rides. If you don't take them, we punish you. We will not give you rides. But if you take them, you must take the lower fare. To me, that sounds like a worker. Because if you tell me I have to be a certain place, or I'm dinged because I take a different route, or I'm told I can't cancel this customer because I can't get through traffic, I'm a worker. I'm no longer independent because an independent contractor sets their price. They set their terms. And if they don't agree with those terms, you just move on to the next person who will give you that. But unfortunately, they use these ways to punish the drivers and control the drivers that if they don't follow the rules, we will kick you off with no question.
Now, one issue highlighted by the Tennessee Drivers Union has been the fake taxis showing up around Tennessee, which the city of Nashville has successfully cracked down on as a result of your exposure to the benefit of both drivers, certified drivers, and riders. First off, congratulations. That's fantastic
Yay.
news.
Yes, they heard us.
They heard you, and it's fantastic. I'm curious, what did the process look like?
So after our second strike, we were able to win a town hall meeting, which is very difficult for something like that. We got a town hall meeting with city council members to address our demands. And thankfully, a lot of them stated, we didn't even know these things were going on. We weren't even aware. So they were out of the loop. And they understood how the fake taxis were a threat to both the residents of Nashville, tourists, as well as other drivers. And now that they've been taking the fake taxi issue seriously by issuing citations and putting more resources towards regulating, there is now also a new Tennessee state bill against impersonating rideshare drivers, likely due to our efforts. And we know it. We make our city safer and much more profitable through the collective work. We had to do this together. We had to show we were very united and we all experienced the same thing for them to understand this is real.
Well, once again, congratulations. You guys have been doing fantastic work. Are there
Absolutely. It's small wins, but we see the bigger picture. It's not about what's going on now. This is something to set in place for future drivers and people who have got an interest in this, because without our efforts, a lot of them will find out the hard way how this system works and how ride shares across the country are experiencing hard times. People aren't making all these social media videos because it's just a one-off situation. This is happening nationwide. It's not just Tennessee.
Absolutely. I'm curious, are there any other recent successes that you'd like to highlight today?
So far we've seen a lot less ticketing downtown. That was a big issue where police were harassing and giving citations to rideshare drivers if they sat there longer than 5 minutes. So we did see some wins in that. They've stopped the harassment and allowed us the space. We just recently found out about a new pilot program that Davidson County issued for the TCAPS, the TPAC Center. I call it the TPAC. The TPAC Center, it is a center where you can go watch plays. They have a location just for rideshare pickup, and they're just trying to see if this will help alleviate the traffic as well as provide a safer and easier pickup. So we're very happy that they took notice that we need zones downtown to pick up the riders in a safe location.
Well, thank you for sharing that bit. What support does the Tennessee Drivers Union need in the aftermath of this ban?
Well, we need a whole lot of that, honey. We need Trust me, there are so many drivers who lost income during that time, which they're still kind of suffering a blow with that. Lost funds. Some people had rent to pay, had bills to pay, and they lost a lot of income. So, some of the ways that we can get support is by calling the Nashville Airport Authority and demanding that the 34 drivers are unbanned from the airport, giving them and restoring their privileges back. Um, we're also asking for unions that are nearby to sign on to our labor movement letter of solidarity. And we have a link in our bio on our Instagram page, and that's at TN Drivers Union, and they can go in the bio, sign up, put their name, and just give us support. It doesn't cost anything. We also have a Twitter page as well, same name, TN Drivers Union. And they can go on there, show support, share our videos, even make videos on their stance about what they heard about. Just the more chatter and the more talking we get about it, the more these big companies will see that we've got support. And that could make them feel like there's something that has to be done.
Yes, absolutely. I think everyone should go follow you guys on Instagram and Twitter at TN Drivers Union uh, to follow your work. Now, those are all the questions we have for you today. I'm curious if there's anything else you'd like to discuss before we close.
I just want to let them know, as far as rideshare drivers across the country that are experiencing hard times, if we don't come together, we will continue to be unprepared as Uber and Lyft get desperate and try to squeeze every dollar out of us. And how much money were you earning 5 years ago compared to what you're earning now? What do you think you're going to earn in the next 5 years? And if we don't do anything, it's pretty much saying we accept the fate that these big corporations want to impose on us. And this is not the way to be. They want you to be obedient and take your money. So we want you to stand with your local unions against these companies, because you have a lot to lose, a whole lot to lose, and that you'll never gain by being quiet. So just stand up. Even if it's just you and friends and family don't join you, it doesn't matter. Your voice is enough, and we appreciate that from any area.
Monique, thank you so much for coming to discuss your efforts. We look forward
Thank
to
you.
following your journey as you organize for driver dignity and safety. Really, it's been a pleasure having you on, and I really look
Thank
forward to
you.
following along.
Well, thank
To
you.
our
It means a lot.
Yeah, of course. To our audience, please support the fight being carried out by the Tennessee Drivers Union, which you can follow on Instagram or Twitter at TN Drivers Union.
We state these facts only to let you know that those of us who are revolutionary, Pan-Africanists, is not because we love revolution. It is historically determined, and we have no alternative but to follow history and to use history for the benefit of our people.